Hello and welcome to the next video. And in this video, I wanted to basically do a kind of media review. So I have checked my podcast, which I have recorded since December last year, and which one was the most popular, and then maybe do a part two or something similar, just to basically continue the conversation. So the most popular podcast was Doing Hard Things, so planning for 2023. And I was listening to that podcast and wanted to basically understand where was my mindset in terms of planning for 2023. And I must say that a lot of the things have changed, and that's okay. And I will tell you what happened, what didn't happen, and all of that. So obviously go and listen. It's number 64, the Awaken Life Project. So that's my episode on how to plan. So the way in generally how I plan my year, I basically take myself forward to December. Yeah, so in December 2022, I was looking forward and I was trying to do a visualization how I want to feel in December 2023. And pretty much that stays the same, right? So I have a certain vision of myself in 2023 in December. And from that, I'm planning. So I planned a strategy around my business. I planned how many programs I want to sell, what I want to release, how many clients I want to get. But above all of that, I was planning on my health, family time as well, and also my career. I have a normal 9 to 5 job as well. So a lot of the things have not happened, unfortunately, especially on the business side. Everything else seems to be okay, apart from also health, because unfortunately I did put on quite a bit of weight as I'm entering the perimenopause. Wonderful. I haven't had that many symptoms so far, but this year they've sort of decided to really show themselves in full force. And that's unfortunately becomes evident in my weight. My sugar levels have become a little bit unbalanced all over the place sometimes. I'm type 1 diabetic and I have been over 27 years. So that makes, and with all these hormonal changes, that makes so much difficult to actually balance the sugar levels and making sure that I do not overeat when my sugar levels are too low and all of that. So my plan for health was really get myself into fit and healthy mood, but also in my body, turning fat or burning fat and really getting my body toned. That didn't happen. However, I did take and still taking part in the swimming challenge. I walk and all of that, but it's so much harder to lose the weight if the diet is not right. But diet, diet in a sense, healthy eating, right? So it's not like, cutting extremely amount of calories. But my kind of eating patterns have definitely been connected to the low mood, which I have had for a few first months of this year, especially related to my business and some kind of finances as well. I invested so much time and also money in my business. Therefore, it became a kind of a disappointing thing. So I guess what happened is a lot of problems with emotional eating, emotional health, and very low moods. Basically, I have been in my low moods. Definitely, when I compare to now, I must say that it was a pretty difficult time. So and that resulted with some extra kilos on my body and not necessarily a fit body I wanted. But now it's the time I can do something about it. I still have that vision in December. And although I may rethink some of the things regarding my business, I'm making my health and my family really, really, truly a priority. So making sure that I continue with my journey, but take it up a notch, right? Part of the problem with winter months here is dark, it's cold, sometimes it rains, we become a little bit laziness. There is laziness creeping in, but also we become a little bit lazy because, right, so if I don't do something for a few days, it's very difficult to get into routine. So my kind of biggest habit has been for the last few months was I need to exercise every day. And it doesn't have to be 1 hour and 2 hours exercise. I have to do something, which could be walking, lifting weights, squat, dancing, whatever. I need to move my body every day, and that becomes a better habit rather than I just do something 2 times a week, and that's it. That at least works for me because I have that mind really focused on this kind of goal of that is important to me. So on the business level, I've run a few programs, I've run through challenges, but I think I've lost some energy. I lost motivation and creativity. I lost my mojo. So I've sent the newsletter to my subscribers and I got lovely messages that the message resonated with them. We are living in a very difficult and challenging times with higher inflation and mortgages and all of that. And one of the things we know for sure, and I know that is very, very unfair for many people, but there is nothing we can do about that part. What we can do is actually about our own lives, about better budgeting our spend, finding better job, finding better well-paid job. There is job in the market. One problem is a bit that there are good jobs in the market and they are well paid sometimes, but sometimes it's also that they don't necessarily cover everything that we wanted because of the price. And I totally understand that. But what I'm saying is that we can only control certain things, and we cannot control inflation, we cannot control mortgage rates. Like if we become very angry with all of that, which I think we should express our opinion for sure, but it takes away our energy to do something about our life, right? And I think we just need to find the right balance. So I'm very much so interested in politics, and I'm also have my own opinions and all of that, and I'm not afraid of voicing them where it makes sense, right? So, but I'm not losing my sleep and energy. Then I become overwhelmed with the thoughts, and I'm not doing anything in my life that could improve my situation. And this is what I found with the people who come to me sometimes, but also with the people when I hear what they're talking about, basically being a victim, right? And I totally understand that it's so unfair for so many people, but being a victim won't help you, unfortunately. We have to basically do something about it. And there are different ways of doing it, right? And one of them is through voting, but I leave this up to you. But overall, because of that situation and because, in terms of my business plan and all of that, not a lot has not come to the plan, mainly because I've realized that in order to take it another level, I have to devote even more time. I would have to devote a lot of money into advertising, a lot of time into networking, probably money too. So I did a little bit of networking, and actually it was a good idea, but I just don't have that time, and definitely don't have a lot of money in my business and cash to actually, and especially cash, in order to invest, right? I need to find a proper balance between what I can truly afford and risk and benefits. And I think it's fair to say that, and it's fair to make that assessment. And I think that's what really brought my low mood, and therefore I resorted to some emotional eating and I put on weight and all of that. So I need to take myself back a little bit, a step back. And it's a known coaching tool where we take ourselves a step back and we look at and through the perspective rather than something that we are in it, right? One of the things is always, it's good if you work with a coach, then they can actually help you with that perspective as well, which is very, very beneficial. And it helped me so much last year. So very important. But one of the things I said to myself, I wanted to give up at times, just like, I'm not doing this, I'm taking 5 years break or whatever. No, I'm going to trim it down in such a way that it makes sense for me and where I am in my life. I'm not going to put any targets or anything, as long as I don't give up. And of course, sometimes giving up is the solution, because we may not be happy, our health is impacted, we don't have the work-life balance, like it doesn't bring us happiness anymore, we give up something else and we start something else. Like, I mean, giving up is not always the worst decision you can make. But for me, I'm not going to substantially change what I do. I'm just going to trim it down to the point it is manageable. I like it, it's creative, it's fun, but also there is plenty of room for my own health, which is so important to me. And I look back at that recording, and yes, some things have not gone to plan, but I still have my vision of myself in December 2023, and I can still get there, right? Some things have changed, but as long as I don't give up in what I truly want to desire and how I want to feel, I will get there. I will get that in December. So yeah, I think this is a kind of a shorter version of where I am, and it's okay that some things do not work out. It's okay to change our priorities. It's okay to drop one thing and start another thing. I think it's all of that is through for the personal growth, and at least in my case. So what I'm saying is also how I'm coping mentally. First of all, I'm increasing my self-awareness through meditation. So I'm improving my focus and attention. I journal. I work with a coach. Like, I do all of that in order to bring myself where I should be, right? Or where I want to be. Not should, but where I want to be, where I feel I can manage this and still have satisfaction and fun, because that is very, very important. And also being aware of what is going on in the wider world. As I said, I'm interested in politics. I'm very empathetic towards people who have worse things going on in their life. I think that I'm privileged in terms of my education, my background, although my parents were educated, and but their parents were not educated that much. They came from working class, but because of the free education and a lot of kind of the social, I would say, benefits, not necessarily like government money, but some privileges at that point when my parents were coming into the workforce, they were able to step up. They got their education. My father was an engineer, electrical engineer. My mom was a teacher. And although they didn't have like massive salaries, I definitely earn far more than my parents. I still believe that where they got from comparing to their parents, it was a success. But I think what really stopped them in progressing and being happy in their relationship was that mindset and the mental health, because they had all the money, they had all the kind of the financial situation quite good, and also some other addictions, right? So I'm very aware of that, and I want to make sure that it doesn't creep into my life and relationship, that I resort to some kind of addiction to feel better, right? I want to process my difficult emotions, and that's what was happening in the first months of this year. However, I did resort a little bit to my food, or to food, and not always healthy. Therefore, I put on weight, and this is my target: my health, getting into the being stronger and fitter, to burn off the fat, to tone up, is really my kind of motivation for the next few months. And it's going to be nice weather. It's really getting into that routine with a proper mindset. All right, I will leave you at that. If you have any comments, tell me where you are right now in your life. You can comment, you can even send information to me privately. Subscribe to my newsletter, because I'll become more personal. The landscape the businesses are dealing with the customers is changing. People want to know what they buy and from whom they buy, and who is the person behind the business. Even the big brands, right? Even the big brands and small brands and, you know, services, all of that. People want to know who are you behind that, and they want to make their own decision whether they want to buy from you or not. And I've realized that, right? I have the service that can help a lot of amount of people, a lot of big number of people. It's just people need to find me and also be ready to work with me, because not everyone is, right? We have those gremlins like, I won't have time for it. I'm not prioritizing my health at the moment because I'll just find the ideal time for it and then I will do it, and it never comes. Like various reasons. My services are very reasonably priced because I want to develop into this business. I'm testing a few things, plus I have my normal job as well, right? So I'll leave you at that. If you want to connect with me, subscribe to this channel, leave me a review. I would be more than happy to have a conversation. Take care and all the best.